What's up, guys? So today I'm going to show you some options that you can apply for your submission games to make sure that you always get a submission from the North-South Kimura. Okay, so a lot of times like people will get there, lock up a Kamora grip, but their training partner or their opponent will really secure their hands, and ultimately there's not that many options there. So you can really get to this position from whether you're from the turtle, attacking the turtle, or just from a guard pass. So just for an example of how you could get there, if Hamza's facing me and a very general way, or spin the other way. A very general way is a simple knee slice. So a lot of times people will do a knee slice, and then they'll get an underhook, and as they get the underhook, they'll start to turn their training partner into that T North-South Kimura position. So getting to this position can be an entire video itself, but from here we're going to work on some options that we can apply as far as submissions, okay? So as soon as we get here, obviously you guys know the actual Kamora Finish, and it would be ideal for us to get the hands separated. And if you don't know, it's very simple. You guys just want to start aiming their hand to the floor as I throw my elbow on the other side while I start to high step on this foot and drop my hip to the floor. As I drop my hip to the floor, the elbow follows all the way down like so, making sure that I keep a 90-degree angle in Hamza's arm, okay? Now, as soon as I'm here, my back leg, which would be my right leg in this case scenario, is going to start to sprawl back, putting weight on his hip, making sure he stays on his side. And now from here, a lot of people want to just shoot the hand straight to the head, but in the reality, if we can maintain a strong wrist-to-wrist grip on ourselves, all we need to do to finish this submission is just to post our foot on the floor and start the action of pressing as we turn our training partner on our side, and we have a nice strong submission here. So even if we have a really strong grip, we don't have to rush the hand to the head. A lot of this finishing can be done with just this foot here as I start to press and lift him on his side, okay? That would be ideal, but this entire video is going to be predicated on the fact that we can't get our training partner's arms separated, okay? So this first option that we're going to work on is if my training partner connects his hands, whether it's a gable grip or an S grip. Okay, now from here, as we arrive in this position, we're going to find out that it's very difficult to get our training partner's hands separated. So the first option we're going to work on is the legs Kamora. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just keep my Kamora grip, and I'm just going to extend my hand. And I can even hold my own bicep just to keep the connection. Now, the whole point of this extension is to find the pit of his knee as I start to bring it towards me slightly, okay? The reason why I want to do that is because I want to have a nice clear path to throw my leg over and catch my own thigh, okay? And another reason is why is if I don't reach for this leg, a lot of times if Hamza's knees point towards the sky, he can actually intercept my leg as I go to try to throw my leg over, okay? It's a common problem with legs Kimuras. So that's why as soon as I get to this position, I extend to my bicep, I pull his hamstring towards me, and now from here I can start to just throw, and as I throw, I replace my inner thigh just like so, okay? Now as soon as I grab, I want to adjust, and I want his middle of his forearm right here in the pit of my knee. A lot of times people think that it gets even tighter if I go even further, but in the reality, it won't give me quite the leverage I need, and I'm actually feeling a little bit more off balance here. So if I can get it right here in the crook, and I back heel with my calf, and now from here I just wiggle my hand to get to the top of my own thigh, we have a nice grip. And we can get this finish even if my training partner keeps his hands connected. While this is going to happen, my training partner's hands might disconnect because there's a lot of pressure on the forearm and on the shoulder, okay? Once we throw our leg over, now from here I just bring my heel in, and now the idea to finish this is to get my shin and shoelaces on the floor. So what I'm going to do is post my hand on the ground, and now from here I ballerina toe my foot, and I start the action of putting my shin and shoelaces on the floor, and from here I'm starting to create pressure on my training partner's shoulder. And now from here, if his hands do get separated, we just finish in that exact same motion by back heeling with my far side leg on the back of his head, and I continue to do the shin and shoelaces slide, okay? So without his hand, I'm just sliding all the way through, just like so. And it functions just like a Kamora, but with my legs, okay? So the next submission we're gonna work is gonna be based on my training partner's elbow position when I do have that North-South Kimura, okay? So as soon as I get here, if my training partner's elbow's tucked, connected to his hands and his elbow's tucked in nice and tight, I'm gonna go for the legs Kamora, just like so, just like we just did. However, a lot of times there might be a hole in this space where my training partner has his hands connected. Okay, this is very common as well. So from here, all I'm gonna do is just step my foot on the inside and place it on the ground. Okay, and now from here, all the while I'm doing this, I'm always feeling if I can get the hands separated at any moment. Okay, so once I thread my foot right here on the inside of my training partner's armpit, now from here I'm gonna sit back and go for a Yoko Kaku, which is basically a sideways triangle. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is take my hand on the inside of this hole here, and I like to cup his tricep. Okay, now at the same time, I'm gonna bring my knee really close to his head, and I just have a seat on my butt. As soon as I have a seat on my butt, I'm gonna shoot my top leg all the way through, back heel nice and tight, and now my bottom leg is gonna come all the way up and lock the triangle from below, okay? So I don't wanna reverse the triangle like so, it's gonna be difficult. I just back heel the top leg, and the bottom one comes underneath and locks right here on top. A lot of times you don't even need to lock all the way, okay? And where the strangle is gonna come from is me pulling on his tricep and my hamstring going into the side of his head, side of his neck. Now from here, I'm just gonna start the action of back heeling, and at the same time, I'm just gonna start squeezing as I lock the triangle for the strangle here. Now we can create a dilemma with my training partner. If my training partner connects his hands to defend any type of arm lock or Kamora, well, that's gonna just facilitate the strangle for me by just pulling the tricep and have a nice strong strangle, okay? Hamza's correct reaction will be to open his hands and take a wide elbow with his right arm to ease the strangle. Yes. When he does this, well, his hands get separated, and we have a lot of different attacks here, whether it be a wrist lock, okay, either way, or if we can just create a strong Kamora grip, place it on the floor. As we start to post on our head, get right back up, and now that his hands are separated, we just go right for that first Kamora submission, planting my foot on the floor, and having a nice strong finish, okay? So we just transitioned from the legs Kamora, and we can also go straight for the Yoko Kaku. Another variation I like to do is if I can step over my training partner's head, and I'm really adamant on the legs Kamora. Maybe he connects his hands, and I'm not able to maybe thread my foot in. However, his legs are open, and I can't reach his legs from here, okay? So I want to reach his legs, but I'm not able to. I want the legs Kamora, and also, I can't get the Kamora in the first place. So what I'm gonna do is just step over his head, and I have a seat, just like a traditional arm bar, okay? So now from here, as I sit down, his legs are far away from me. Clearly, I can't reach out and grab it. So what I'm gonna do is take my foot, place it right here on his hip flexor to make sure that he doesn't bring his knees towards him, okay? If I don't have my foot there, he can bring his knees in and maybe even try to catch my foot. Okay, so bring your knees to your chest. Yes, okay, so what I'll do is, as this is happening, I just take my foot and I plant it right here on his hip flexor. Now as I do this, I'm gonna have a quick moment of transition as all I'm gonna do, place my hand on the floor, and I open my hand to just catch my own thigh, okay? Just like the legs Kamora. However, I'm on my butt. For me to finish this, I actually have to be on top of him. So what I'm gonna do is just dive my weight forward by placing my hand on the floor, and then I'm just gonna reach my foot all the way behind me like an S, okay? Now I just lean my head above, driving my head towards his far side hip until I can get up nice and tall. And now from here, we have the legs Kamora once again. He wasn't able to trap my foot, which is exactly what I wanted. And now I start the action of facing away from him, just like a normal Kamora, making sure that my shin and shoelaces touch the floor. So I start the action of back heeling, placing my hand on the floor towards his butt, and now I start to spin towards him. If I can, I make this leg nice and back heel going behind me, and I place my shin and shoelaces on the floor, lifting my elbow up, okay? Just make sure that as you guys do your legs Kamora, it can actually create tension on your own shoulder if your chest isn't pronounced, okay? A lot of times I've done this legs Kamora before, to where I throw my leg over, and as I'm doing this, if my shoulder and my elbow is relaxed, I might put pressure on my own shoulder because of this configuration. So what I want to do as I start to work this legs Kamora is once I post and put my shin and shoelaces on the floor, I want to make sure that my elbow comes up and my chest comes up, making sure that there's no pressure on my own shoulder. And now from here I can start the action of placing my shin and shoelaces on the floor and getting a nice strong submission from there, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little like submission system from that T-shape North-South Kimura. Okay, so it can be pretty frustrating when you pass your training partner's guard and you get that Kamora and you don't have that many options. So I hope you're able to get some ideas from here. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. Os!